From the world headquarters of 990WBOB.com in the original 13th colony, spreading truth and slaying lies, a one-man gang in a war to restore freedom and liberty, Dan Bidondi.
All right, folks, today is September 11th, Tuesday, 9/11. Here we are in 2018, 17 years later after the biggest attack on American soil in known history. It was crazy, man. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. But before we get to that, I want to touch on something. Here in Rhode Island, tomorrow we have primaries. Primary elections tomorrow where they're going to limit, obviously one Democrat, one Republican if there's multiple running. But anyway, everybody should know what primary is. But tomorrow is the primary here in Rhode Island. So those people out there in Rhode Island, please, for the love of God, okay, get out there and vote tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because tomorrow is going to make a huge difference because we got the general election and November 6th. That's on Wednesday, I believe, this year. But anyway, November 6th, the big election. But tomorrow's the primaries where you have a lot of Republicans and Democrats basically going through the elimination process. And we got some good, yes, there's some good Democrats out there. There's some great Republicans too. So get out there and vote the bad ones out. And most of all, for the love of God, please, I beg everybody out there, please, for the love of God, okay, vote Gina, our governor, Gina Raimondo, the hell out. Get her the hell out of here. I don't care if it's Matt Brown or who the hell. Get her the hell out. Write your name. I don't give a crap. Get her the hell out. Okay, we need to get her out of the primaries altogether. But more than likely, she's got to win it. And but we have a lot of good momentum going to November. We got 3 great governor candidates. I can't decide, man. Ian Armstrong's good too, and we got Mayor Alan Fung of Cranston here. Awesome guy. He should have won last time, but the election fraud screwed him over. You have Joe Trillo, independent, who I interviewed here. Patricia Morgan, Rhode Island State Representative, first House Minority Leader. Great woman, too. I mean, you got some great people running. I wish to God you could put all 4 of these people together because all of them have great traits, and I can't talk bad about any of these people. I know the political games going on right now to say, oh, this one and this did this. That's only political games. That's it. Because after the primaries, everybody's going to be all friends again. That's called campaign fighting. You know what I mean? But anyway, we hope to God that tomorrow we got the primaries here and the Republican side for governor. You have again Patricia Morgan, state rep, running against Mayor Alan Fung for the Republican nomination for governor of Rhode Island. So. May the best one win. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I can vote on this one because both of them got great traits, and it's going to be real hard to actually pick somebody. And I've seen Patricia Morgan in action for years, going to the State House. She's a hardcore bulldog when it comes to defending civil liberties. And I know Alan Fung is a great mayor too. So, I mean, you got to pick your choice. And so the elections are very huge this year, folks, especially you people out there, the Second Amendment community. You need to get up and vote, okay? Get your friends out. Get them off their asses. Get off the couches. Stop complaining, okay? Get out there and vote. Because if you want to secure your freedoms, you want to secure all that, get out there and vote. Because election fraud's a big issue this year, so more than likely they're not going to pull that crap this year. This is the time, this is the way to get out there and make your voice heard. And we got my good friend Salvatore Caioso running for Congress. He's going to be running against Jim Landrigan. They're the only 2 people running, so they're in November. They'll be voting for November. I got a list of politicians. The next show, we're going to focus strictly on politics here in Rhode Island. But today, I want to switch gears here to go over something very touching. And I want to, first of all, before I get into this, I need to explain this to people first, okay? All right, now listen, the things I bring up, people say, how could you do that? The victims and their families, that's a smack in their face. No, hold on. Let me explain something to you, okay? This is why I'm doing this for. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of blunt, a lot of heat, and people call me a conspiracy theorist, a tinfoil hat wearing person, whatever you want to call me. But if it was me, okay, put yourself in that position for a minute. If it was someone that you knew that died in those towers, or yourself, all right? Wouldn't you want the truth to get out there? So let's put it in this aspect, okay? If I was to shut up, all right, let's just go along with the official quo, the status quo, the official narrative, right? And just shut up about it. Is that doing them any justice? Is it? Oh, no, it's showing respect. No, it's not showing respect. Showing respect is getting out there and getting the truth out and getting this stuff solved. For 17 damn years, there's been no investigation in this stuff, and there's valid reasons for an investigation. And you can call me conspiracy theorist all you want. You can call me that damn guy with the tinfoil hat on, that dumb Rhode Islander, that can't speak right. Yeah, I can't speak right, too bad. At least I'm speaking and trying to get stuff done. You know what I mean? So you can say all the comments you want. The media, especially the media, hates me here in Rhode Island, the mainstream media. I mean, because they hate when a reporter comes in and shows them up. They hate when somebody comes in and asks real questions and challenges the official status quo. Like, we're not supposed to touch that. You know what I mean? And shame on the media. Shame on reporters out there. Okay? Your job is to get to the truth. When the media was established in this country, a media person, a reporter, was an investigative journalist. Okay? You are an investigator. Okay? You go out, a private investigator, whatever you want to call yourself. You go dig for the truth, even if it means your life sometime. That's what being a news reporter is about. Not to sit there to say, I was there. Oh, look at me. I'm at the Boston Marathon press conference. Oh, look at me. I'm just here to be here. No, you're there to ask the real questions. That's what your job is. The public wants to know the real answers, the real questions. They don't care about your left-wing propaganda or your right-wing propaganda. You have to be biased or politically correct. No. A reporter is supposed to be somebody that's not politically correct, somebody that's not afraid to get into the faces of anybody, public officials, police, or whoever. You get in their faces with the camera and you expose the truth. That's what you do. And no, I'm not the greatest speaker in the world. I admit that, okay? There's a million people out there that can speak a lot more articulate than me, better than me, clearer than me, okay? But I'm just a guy out here that cares about liberty and freedom and truth. And this is why I do what I do. So if people, you want to shut up Dan Bidondi, you want Dan Bidondi off the air, you do yourself a favor. You get involved and you do this for me. How's that? And to then, there's nobody out there that's really doing this here in Rhode Island, except for Will Turbot and Kevin LaPrade and a couple other guys. Will Turbot, good friend of mine, Demand the Truth. I mean, that's a real good alternative media popping up. I'm so proud of the guy, and I remember I met Will Turbot a long time ago, and helped him out along the way. And I mean, the guy's come a long way, it really has. But actually, I should have invited him on the show. My co-host Kevin LaPrade called out at the last minute. If I would have known that, I would have had Will come down, because he's great. He's a great speaker. You got to check the guy out, man. But anyway, let's get into again. I want to state this too before I go any further. Okay, out of the respect of the victims and the families. Okay. It is our duty, for those of us know, okay, it is our duty and obligation to tell you the truth. And that's respecting, that's putting closure onto these people. Now, yeah, people say, oh, it's theories that you're plotting out. No, it's not theories, okay? It's stuff from the horse's mouth. And I want to let people know, the 9/11 Truth Commission, right, was not started by a bunch of tinfoil hat people. It was not started by conspiracy theorists. It was started by the first responders, the New York Fire Department. My friend Phil, who's was a New York firefighter, he was a first responder. Okay, he heard the bombs going off in Building 7. They were told to evacuate the building. He was on my show years ago revealing this whole operation. I actually should have had him call in, but you know what I mean, due to the sense of time, we only got an hour. But I want to go over this, and I want to go over other scenarios that took place in history. And yes, I want to state one other thing too. When I mention the term false flags, okay, it does not mean it's fake. It does not mean people don't die, okay? False flag is it's an operation done by a group like in other words, politicians or whoever. They'll stage something to push a political agenda. Now, staging something doesn't mean people don't die. Absolutely, people die. Over 3,000 people died on September 11th. Innocent people. And since then, 17 years later, how many thousands of our troops have died in these useless wars that have nothing to do with our national sovereignty, nothing to do with freedom? Now, do I say the troops are bad? No, not at all. I support the troops, absolutely 100%. I know the wars are all bull crap. And so, you know what I mean, when we get back from the break in 2 minutes here, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to dive into this, but I just want to go over these things before people sit there and criticize me, before people say, this guy is disrespecting the military, this guy's disrespecting the victims of these incidents. No, I'm not. I'm out here to bring closure to these things, okay? And I 100% respect our military. And, and so by me doing this, I'm bringing light and closure to what is going on. And if we could talk about these things, okay, if we could expose these things, okay, there'll be less of these things to happen. Because if we don't do nothing about it, there's going to be another 9/11. There's going to be another shooting of a school or wherever. There's going to be another bombing of a government building. You know, if we don't talk about this, if we don't dig into this and investigate this and examine this, okay, we are going to continue to go down the road to have these incidents happen. And I'm not saying every shooting or whatever is a false flag. I'm not saying that. There's legit ones. Absolutely. And yes, people die. I'm not saying Sandy Hook kids didn't die, so don't go down that route, because I know people love to attack me on Sandy Hook. Okay, never said. The only reason I got involved with that is because the politicians were going after the guns for it. The very guns that would have saved those kids' lives. If they had armed students at the school, I'm sorry, I'm not armed students, okay? Scratch that. Armed staff at the school, those kids would be alive today, God rest their souls. But I'm going to not really talk about that today. It's just going to talk about these major false flag operations, the Reichstag fire that was in Germany, the Gulf of Tonkin, Cuban Missile Crisis, Operation Gladio, Ruby Ridge, Waco, Texas, Oklahoma City bombing, World Trade Center happened 17 years ago, and Operation Fast and Furious that you're not supposed to know about, Benghazi attack, the Navy Yard shooting, and more. We're just going to go through all these and cover all the scenarios, all the similarities that led up to these things and what the outcome has been off them. So this is going to be focused on, yes, 9/11, but also false flags as well. So anyway, we'll be right back, and you listen to the Dan Bidondi Show on 990WBOB.com. All right, once again, it's September 11th, 2018, 17 years later after a tragedy. It really was a huge tragedy. 3,000 plus people lost their lives and continue to lose their lives as time went on, especially the first responders that have died from cancer, even though the EPA at the time said the air was safe to breathe, especially my buddy Phil here, who's got throat cancer and lung cancer because of the air quality when the EPA said it was safe to breathe. But anyway, I'm going to go through this and a lot of things from 9/11, and we're going to bring up other scenarios that took place over history. We're not going to dive too deep into them. We're going to wait for those dates to even talk about them. But and again, you can call me conspiracy theorist or whatever you want. These are unrefutable facts. You know what I mean? And these are real legit questions that you have to be dumb, okay, to really not believe it, and to just be a zombie robot. I'm just going to go along with the status quo the official report says, okay? But here's news for you. The 7 out of the 10 committee report for the official report now they don't believe in their own report they wrote. I should have brought that book and burned it. I try to do that every year. I got the 9/11 official committee book, whatever, and I burn one every year, usually. And anyway, let's get into 9/11, and again, September 11th, 2018, 2001 this happened, 17 years ago, when in New York City, the World Trade Center was attacked by jet airliners. Now, I want to bring up a couple of quotes and quotes and facts and all that stuff to make you really think about things. Okay, first of all, you can go check the stuff up. This stuff ain't off of YouTube conspiracy videos, okay? This is from the horse's mouth, okay? Supposedly, nobody in the world knew at all, nobody in the world knew that the trade tower was going to be attacked, right? But we got documents, okay, from drills being done a year, months before this happened, and right on the drill manual, I should have brought that package too, man. But right on the operation covers for Homeland Security, FEMA, and Sheriff's Department was the Twin Towers with a crosshair on it. It's a target, okay, a crosshair, okay, and they were doing drills for airlines crashing into the Trade Center in the terrorist attack. And FEMA was there the night before, Monday night. They admitted live on TV when they were being interviewed on national TV. It was actually worldwide because the whole world was watching then. They said we got here late last night in preparation for this. You know what I mean? They came right out. It wasn't a mistake. Then he even went on to elaborate about it. You know, these little things that come popping up here. And you got BBC reporter talking about Building 7 that a lot of people don't know about. Building 7 is not even mentioned in the official report. They don't talk about Building 7 in schools. They don't talk about Building 7 in the mainstream media. Building 7 was a Solomon building. Okay, it was a little distance away. It was in the same complex. It wasn't exactly near the towers. So when the two towers came down, the surrounding buildings suffered damage, but none of them collapsed. But the Solomon building, they want us to believe that office fire and structural damage caused the building to collapse. And BBC reporter, and you can go check the stuff. This is all on archives, all of it, all the videos. BBC reporters talk about the Solomon building. As she's talking about the Solomon building, how it collapsed, all the details about it. It's up right behind her in the background. Then all of a sudden, mysteriously, the transmission got screwed up, and they had to cut the feed with that. Then minutes later, the Solomon building comes crashing down. That's why the Building 7 is not listed in the official report. And firefighters, right on video, people's home videos and all that, telling people to get back, okay, and people who worked in the building even come out to say this. They evacuated the building because they were blowing up the building. The fire department and Larry Silverstein, the owner, admitted they pulled Building 7. Crashed, it came crumbling down from explosives. You know how long it takes to set up explosives in buildings? And people don't never talk about the blackout weekend that happened before September 11th, Tuesday of 2001. That Friday, all the power went out in the entire complex. They had a team going there, people in construction uniforms and all that. Security was told, don't bother them, let them do what they have to do to restore power and the security inside the building. So the security is making countless reports that these people in parts of the building they shouldn't be, or have no business being, but they were told to stand down, let them do what they have to do. And the power was restored finally Monday morning, and all the systems went back up. And these people spent the entire weekend planting demolition explosives throughout the building. It was a demolition team. And you could believe it in which you want. Okay, you could just sit there and just believe in the official report. Again, 7 of the 10 committee members for that official report does not now comes out to admit that the report is bogus. You could go fact check the stuff for yourself. Even Mayor Willie Brown from San Francisco was told not to get on the plane that morning because he had a flight to New York City that morning, Tuesday morning, September 11th, 2001. Mayor Willie Brown from San Francisco was told, do not get on the plane. He was warned, he was pulled off the flight, and because that flight was going to New York. And there's a lot of little things. There was some minister from the security minister, whatever, from Germany even admitted it was a false flag operation. I mean, you know, got all these people coming out talking about this stuff. I mean, there's loads and loads of information. I don't want to just regurgitate everything that people have heard 1,000 times already. I just want to go through the stuff and really talk about it and really expose the stuff that's going on, why these things are done. Because that's the biggest question. Why? That's the question that, you know, the thing is a lot of people, and I have to admit, like, people, what we call conspiracy theorists, okay? We get called conspiracy theorists. A lot of people go out there and tell the truth about 9/11, but they can't answer why. Because people are like, why would our government do that? Why would they do that? You know, because there's a huge agenda behind it. That's why. And if you think for 1 minute, okay, people in the powers that be care about you or your children's lives, they don't. They'll shoot a child in the face and laugh at it. Literally. That's how evil these people are. They'll shoot a child in the face and laugh at it. And again, I don't expect you to believe it, okay? This stuff is real, okay? I'm risking my life doing this stuff. I'm telling you the truth. I've been taking the blunt of this for years doing this stuff. And this stuff is real stuff, folks. And, you know, you could believe what you want. Hey, you know what? But this is a free country. But I'm just giving you things that it's going to make you go, plain and simple. Because a lot of people over the years have woken up about 9/11. Most of the public now believe that the government had some involvement or all involvement in 9/11. And go check for yourself. Go on the streets. Go talk to your friends, families, and neighbors. Most of the people are going to question it. Most of the people are going to be like, I don't really buy the official report. Most of the people are going to question, no. 9 men in a cave are not going to pull off the biggest operation in United States history to kill 3,000 people. No, it's impossible. I'm a pilot, okay, I've been around the aviation field for years. I want to bring that up after the break. And I want to bring up the whole fuel thing and everything else. I'm a pilot. I've been working with the airlines, not as a pilot, but I'm a private pilot, but I work with the airlines for over 20 years. I know very well what planes can do and can't do. I know about jet fuel. I've been through the training. I know everything about that stuff. So I'm going to bring that up after the break and get into the details of it. And again, bring up some of the prior false flag operations. That these operations are used for one purpose, okay, to push a political agenda. Why 9/11? Because Bush wanted to go to war with the Middle East. The United States said, no, we don't need war. why do we have to go to the Middle East? They don't pose no threat to us at all, and they still don't today. So they needed a crisis, just like they did in Vietnam, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. They needed a crisis to push their agenda. So everybody wanted to go out and scream. They did. After 9/11, the next day, everybody's out flooding the corners, screaming and yelling. Let's go kick their asses. And I almost fell for it. I went to the recruiting office. I wanted to join the Army. And I almost went in too. And I wanted to join the Army and go kick these people's asses. And then come to find out, wait a minute, they had nothing to do with it. Much as I don't agree with Islam and nothing like that, they had nothing to do with 9/11. And no, the Jews didn't either, okay? It was done by the CIA, George Bush, and his administration. Those are the people, the criminals, that have conducted this false flag operation. And I'm going to get to details when we get back from the break. And, yeah, I mean, again, this is bitter pill to swallow, hard pill to swallow, I agree. Okay, and I don't agree if you, I mean, I don't blame you if you don't believe in this. Just question it, that's all. Question me, I'll tell you. There's nothing wrong with questioning this official report. Nothing at all. That's what a reporter is supposed to do. That's what a person with a conscience, a person with a brain of their own is supposed to do. Question things for yourself. That's how you get answers. Don't just believe what the media tells you. Everybody should know the damn media lies to you. Everybody. But anyway, we'll be right back on the Dan Bidondi Show on 990WBOB.com. Check me out, TruthRadioShow.com. We'll be right back. All right, folks, 18 years later, and things are still escalating from that very event there in New York City, the World Trade Center. 3,000 plus people died. 17 years later, people are still dying from that. People are still, I mean, things have changed dramatically. And when you talk about a new world order, global tectonic, global technocracy and everything else, it all came from that one event. And again, when I talk about the false flags issues, the reason why governments do this for, the reason why people do this for, is to push a political agenda so the people willingly submit to it. And I'm going to go through some history first. And back in the days of Rome, 64 AD, Nero, he's the emperor of Rome, he wanted to go to war with Christians and all that. So what he did is he used to stage these little attacks and killings and all that, murders, blaming it on the Christians. He even had some of his people dressed as them, and just did bad things. And of course, people wanted the blood of Christians. They were throwing them to the lions by the hundreds. I mean, it's sick. And all in the plot to get rid of Christianity. And then you had Adolf Hitler, February 27th, 1933. Adolf Hitler had his own Reichstag building burned down. It was Parliament building in Germany. They burned it down to blame the Polish because they wanted to go to war. Hitler was loved by the world. Even our president here in America, FDR, loved Adolf Hitler. So he was a well charismatic person like Obama is today, and the world loved him. So now this is when the turning point when he really started becoming an evil person. So he staged this whole Reichstag fire that killed thousands of his own people, and to blame it on Poland. And the next thing, all the German citizens would demand their blood from Poland. And you go on to the Gulf of Tonkin, August 2nd, 1964. The mainstream media actually admits this. Crazy enough, took them decades later, 50 years later to admit it. But the Gulf of Tonkin is where our Navy, okay, the top levels of the Navy, not the regular Navy people, they painted one of the Navy ships as a North Vietnamese ship, blew up one of our own Navy ships without them knowing about it, killed over 100 of our own Navy men, sunk the ship. The word get out to all the public because the public says we don't need to go to Vietnam. We have nothing to do with that. It's not our war. We want to stay out of it. So when the word got back, the wires and all that got back to the United States, and the public learned that, oh my God, North Korea just sank one of our ships, killing over 100 of our Navy men. Everybody wanted blood. Full support. Here you go. Here's the funding. Go to war. Here you go. The military-industrial complex, which, by the way, President Eisenhower warned us about. They went straight to war after that, and it just continues. I mean, you had the Cuban Missile Crisis, if everybody remembers that, October 16th from 1962 to October 28th to 1962. It was a missile scare. It was a 13-day confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union concerning American ballistic missiles deployment in Italy and Turkey with consequent Soviet and deployment in Cuba. So it was basically a stage operation to go to war, and they had a huge crisis over that. And I think we got a call on line. Oh, I'm sorry. There's we got lights in the studio here. I don't study the light codes yet. Anyway, back to this. So they staged this whole operation to get public, because the thing is, they wanted to go after Cuba. You know what I mean? And this is where Operation Northwoods comes out. And I want you to go. Right? I think it's a 2 or 3 page PDF file. Please, now whenever. And anyway, we got a phone call. Oh, I'm sorry. The phone caller, you're on the air. Hello? Sounds like they hung up. I apologize about that, folks. Somebody tried calling in. But anyway, Operation Northwoods, I encourage you to open another tab right now, or whatever. Type in Operation Northwoods on Google, PDF file, and you'll get it right from the National Archives, okay? And make sure it's from the National Archives so it's legit, okay? So we'll open the file. It's a few pages long, and it's a manual, how to stage false flag operations. Now, if you read the history of this was presented to President John F. Kennedy. When John F. Kennedy read this document, okay, he flipped his lid. He fired a lot of people to know that our government wanted to go purposely kill people in the United States, kill innocent people in Cuba, just to blame Cuba so we could get public support to go to war against Cuba, when Cuba wanted nothing at all to do with us. And caller, you're on the air. Hi, you're on the air.
Am I?
Hey, how you doing? Hey,
so you talking on the air?
Yeah, turn that feed down. Turn my audio down there.
Oh, all right.
Because you're getting back feed. So, what's your name, sir?
My name is Craig, and I've got one question.
Sure.
We're talking about false flags, right?
Yep.
I know it's the anniversary of 9/11, and obviously that deserves some respect and some attention. But I want to ask about the Boston false flag operation. I'm just wondering. Now, I know that the whole thing about Jeff Bauman, and there's a discrepancy of opinion about whether or not he was a crisis actor and things like that. Do you believe that he was a crisis actor?
Yes. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous for you. If you talk to any EMT, don't talk, to bring up Boston. Just ask any military EMT. Ask them the first protocol. You do this yourself, right? Ask them what the first protocol if somebody steps on IED, whatever, gets their legs blown off, and they'll tell you the protocol that has to be followed. And when you listen to that and watch the videos, what happens, you're like, no way in hell this is possible. You know what I mean? And anybody with some kind of medical training, looking at this would say something's wrong here. You know what I mean? That's number one. That was the number one red flag right there. And number two, there was many people between him and that bomb. And why was he the only one with his legs blown off?
Well, I mean, it's a pressure cooker bomb. So you're not really sure. But I do have one question though. I mean, I'm actually one of your buddies on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I've given you times and dates and locations to confront Jeff Bauman to, see if he's actually a crisis actor.
Well, he's never come around here.
He's had book signings. He's had showings. He's had speeches, and every time that we've given you a location or a time that he'd be there, you pussied out, and you never showed up.
No, because I live in Rhode Island. You get me things up in New Hampshire and like north of Boston.
Well, he was completely accessible to you.
The thing is, okay, the dates you gave me, you gave me hours ahead of time. I live in Rhode Island. I don't know if you know this or not. Okay, you gave me things up in Portland, Maine, up in Boston, and all that stuff. And you're a joke, man. Yeah, this guy actually always told me, oh, you got Jeff Bauman coming in. Oh, you should go confront him. Oh, thanks a lot, retard, because you just told me an hour before. I live in Rhode Island. It would take an hour just to get there to Boston. And you know what I mean? Portland, Maine. He's in Portland, Maine right now. Oh, yeah, let me jump in my car and go to Portland, Maine by the time he leaves. You know what I mean? Like, these people are morons, man. And, well, I wanted to bring up Boston, too. And, Jeff Bauman, okay, this guy, and I'm going to go over the protocol real quick. Anybody that has any medical background training, okay, especially in the military. You people in the military, EMTs know what I'm talking about. When somebody gets their legs blown off, and I'm not an EMT, this is common knowledge, okay? When somebody gets their legs blown off, right, you got 4 major arteries, 2 in each leg, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. So the first number one thing you got to do is lay the guy on his back, elevate those legs, put a tourniquet on it, and even that, they're going to lose a major amount of blood. And if you don't get them to a proper treatment, within 2 to 3 minutes, they're dead. Or they pass out within a minute or so. So how does Jeff Bauman get his legs blown off, gets put in a wheelchair at that, sitting up, perfectly conscious, not even screaming or nothing, no blood pouring out of him. The tourniquet fell right off the wheelchair. You can see him just sitting there all nonchalantly. 6 minutes goes by, he's still sitting up, well conscious, talking to the guy in the cowboy hat. How is this possible? How is that possible if somebody got their legs blown off? Anybody, please correct me if I'm wrong. Every EMT will tell you this, okay? This is not rocket science. That would put as a red flag in anybody that knows about stuff in the head, okay? That's number 1 red flag. Number 2, I can see if other people got their legs blown off, whatever. He was the only one. There was dozens of people between him and where the bomb was. He was the only one who gets his legs blown off? Come on, really, that's number 2. And come to find out, he was a crisis actor. He got his legs blown off in Afghanistan in 2011. So even if you don't want to believe that, then the first and second fact, that right there alone tells you. And I don't know if this guy... Anyway, yeah, we're going to stop taking calls. This guy does, he's been telling me, but, yeah. It's like, just say, for instance, you live in Florida, right? Oh, Jeff Bauman's going to be in Texas tonight. Oh, thanks a lot. Let me jump on my damn Learjet and get there in half hour. Morons. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's go back to what I was talking about earlier with the Cuban Missile Crisis. There was a document drawn up called Operation Northwoods. And, yeah, caller, you're on here? Hi, caller.
Hello. Daniel.
You sound like going the jerky place there. The Kamal. Daniel, yeah. Hey, what's going on? Sounds like that, the jerky boys there. I don't know if everybody's listening to them. They're funny. But anyway, this is what happens when you tell things about truth, whatever. But again, go to PDF file, Operation Northwoods, look it up for yourself. And right in the document from the 1960s, JFK flipped his lid when he read this. To say, right in the document says, I had to read it 3 times to really comprehend this was actually a government document. It talks about flying remote-controlled airliners. You hijack an airline, you land at an air base, and then just as that's landed, the drone, painted just like the aircraft with the same transponder code, takes off as you're landing, so it never disappears off the flight path, and you fly it into tall buildings and blame it on your political enemies. This is in a 1960s document called Operation Northwoods. That was the battle strategic plan that they used on 9/11. And if you want to believe that planes brought those towers down, you don't know nothing about anything, okay? Because for those planes, the architect of the building, okay, he said that those buildings were able to withstand 747s, which are larger aircrafts than the ones that hit, and not collapse. And it's just there's so much stuff. You got another caller? Hey, caller, you around here?
When you said Jeff Bowman, that guy did. I knew it was that guy. That Jeff Bowman, that whole Jeff Bowman thing is to sidetrack us. No, I don't care if it's Jeff Bowman, Sally Fields, whatever. The guy sat there, okay, with legs blown off for like 7 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Okay? They wheeled him away from the spot of the blown off legs for 7 minutes later, bro. Okay? You cannot lay on the ground with no legs for 7 minutes. It cannot happen. ask any medic, EMT, doctor, anyone in the field. It'll never happen.
Exactly.
The guy laid it. Watch the time lapse of the Boston Marathon bombing, and watch the time lapse. It goes off. It comes to maybe 6 minutes. They finally wheel him in a wheelchair. So the guy's got blown off legs. They don't even give him a stretcher. They wheel him in a wheelchair, and the guy's awake, just chilling. I mean, it's a joke, guys.
Oh, it is.
Jeff Bowman. I'll tell you what. Tell Jeff Bowman to come to Rhode Island. We'll meet him here. Buddy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I told the guy I called earlier. He used to call me, right? He's like messaged me on Facebook, like literally, like we live in Rhode Island, right? He would say, oh, he's in Portland, Maine, or in Boston. Oh yeah, thanks for letting me know an hour before he goes on stage or whatever the hell he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, and these people are clowns. They really are. Then they want us to believe that, the guy's sitting there chilling in a wheelchair with his legs blown off. Not one drop of blood on the ground, not one, when he's being wheeled down. And my friend, he's an EMT medic for the Army. He, like, when I brought that up to him, because he doesn't believe conspiracy stuff, whatever. But when I brought that up to him, he goes, "You got a damn good point." And he goes, "You know what?" Like, he ran over the protocol. He goes, "Yeah, you're right." And I'm like, "Look it for yourself, man." And he watched the footage. And he's like, "Damn." He goes, "Holy shit," excuse my language. He was like, "Wow," you know what I mean? I sold him 100%. And
they said they took backpacks out of backpacks.
Yep.
Okay? I mean, that's what, okay, so they took a backpack out of a backpack and then set it down.
Yeah.
And nobody thought that was suspicious.
And mind you, the backpack that they took out is bigger than the backpack they were wearing. It's like saying you could put the chair you're sitting on right now in your pocket. Yeah. It's yeah, these. I was right there too. I was bullhorning CNN right there when that moron FBI agent was on there trying to counter our story because we brought up the backpack issue on InfoWars, and he's trying to hold up the backpacks and say, "Oh, this is what they did. They put the canister in the black backpack, then this big ass bulky black backpack in this small little white backpack." I'm like, "What kind of crack are you smoking, man?" But we gotta go to break, man. If you want to hold on, or you want to hold on, or you want to.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back on the Dan Bidondi Show for our final segment. All right, we are back on our final segment. This false flags we're revealing here and exposing. And caller, if you want to be brief, we got other callers on the line. Do you want to finish with something else?
No, we're kind of getting off the subject. We should go back to the 9/11.
Yeah. So you want to bring up anything about 9/11?
Well, that's the easy one. You just look at the building as first of all, they said an aluminum tin can,
yeah,
so like, a Coca-Cola tin can bottle, which can't do anything, took down a steel and concrete reinforced building. They said it sliced through it, like butter, like a hot butter through knife, a hot knife through butter. And then when you look at the building's fall, there wasn't rubble, 120 stories of rubble. It was nothing. It disintegrated. The building disintegrated as it fell to the ground.
Yeah, that's that was crazy, man. And just like, steel and all that concrete just disintegrated. That was some crazy stuff.
Everything, every desk, every chair, it pulverized to complete dust. So there's definitely questions.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the call, man. We got some other callers calling in.
Of course.
Hey, take care, brother.
Sure.
And we got another caller that was calling in. And next call, you're on the line.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right. So you got anything to add to this? Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, about the Boston Marathon.
Yep.
We gave you weeks in advance, but you never went to see Jeff Bauman. Why you just push it?
No, you didn't do it weeks in advance.
Weeks in advance, and it's only an hour away.
Yeah.
You can drive to the State House, buddy. You can drive to see Jeff Bauman.
Yeah.
It's actually Nick Vogt that has his leg blown off, so you're full of shit. But,
And
hey,
he's a fake. He's a
buddy.
fake. He's a
Just
fake,
potato.
just like you.
Just potato!
You come meet me face to face, I'll show you potatoes, scumbag. And I'm easy to find, jerk. So you come meet me face to face. I'm not afraid of anybody, man. So anyway, let's move on with this. And yeah, you got these damn trolls constantly on here, always antagonizing stuff, and they're cowards. That's all they are. And every time you call them out, and they never show up. But anyway, want to get back into Operation Northwoods, was the strategic battle plan to start war with Cuba, which was also partially used for the 9/11, and to fly remote control aircraft into the towers. Now, here's the other. This is, I mean, I'm just cringing my teeth right now because I can't believe people actually buy this crap. Okay, now the official story: a plane hits. Everybody's seen it. Plane hit the tower and exploded. Right? Not one shred of luggage. Not one body part or anything was found in the stuff from the aircraft, right? But somehow, some way, okay, miraculously, the so-called hijacker that was piloting the plane, his passport mysteriously was found up the road somewhere, okay, mysteriously flew out of the plane, untouched by fire and nothing like that. Mind you, everything else got burned in the fire, luggage, whatever the hell was on the aircraft, everything was disintegrated. But somehow, some way, this guy's passport was unmolested by any of this stuff and was found by an agent. If you buy that, I got a nice oceanfront piece of property to sell you in Arizona. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that is the most ridiculous story I ever heard. And the thing is these own people that put their feet in their mouth. And when you look at it, all you have to do is pay attention. You don't have to go on YouTube or whatever, InfoWars, whatever. Just when these things happen, pay attention. That's all. Pay attention to what they're saying. You'll see the contradictions come out. You'll see the lies come out. Then they go back, and every time there's a mass shooting, always from the bystanders, the people involved, you always hear there's multiple shooters. All the time. Then all of a sudden it gets drilled down to one. When the official report finally comes out, it was a lone wolf. Every time there's multiple shooters. And I'm not jumping all over the place here, I got to get this point out here. You know, the media lies to you. So if you buy the story of 9 men in the cave that could barely afford crap, somehow broke through our national defense, the greatest defense in the entire planet, okay, if that was humanly possible, you should be a damn shame of yourself. You really should. If that was humanly possible, that means our infrastructure sucks. 9 men in the cave that couldn't afford jack somehow, some way, went to flight school. And here's the other thing, too. They said the terrorists went to flight school. I went to flight school, all right? You don't come straight out of flight school and fly 737 straight into a tower like that. Perfectly bank it in that kind of speed of 500 knots into a tower like that. It doesn't happen. I don't care how many years of training. You have to go through extensive amounts of training, more than what they had. I'm a pilot, I know. And then you have the whole Pentagon situation for us to believe that an airline, okay, over 200,000 tons that this aircraft weighed, flying almost 400-something knots, it's almost 500 miles an hour, 50 feet off the ground, all right? Not one car was tipped over from the wake turbulence. Not one. Not one of the poles, except from near there, was just, a couple of them were just tipped over. If I seen a 2,000-pound mail Jeep hit a pole going at 30 miles an hour. The same kind of pole, the pole went flying across the street. And you mean to tell me the aircraft just tipped it over? It would have obliterated that pole. It would have been like Adam Vinatieri kicking a field goal to win the Patriots' first Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that don't make sense. And a lot of things that do not add up. Especially if you know anything about aviation, about aircraft, about any of the stuff. When you look at it, you're like, wow. That's what got me. That's what made me start asking questions. I got my pilot's license in 1999, worked with the airlines for over 20 years, and been through every aspect of the airlines. And even some of the pilots of American Airlines at the time would tell me and say, something stinks. This does not add up at all. For somebody straight out of flight school who could pilot a 200,000-ton aircraft 50 feet off the ground at 500 knots perfectly into the side of a building. It doesn't happen. Even an experienced captain would have a hard time doing something like that. Then you tell me, they got the flight training. No, you do not know nothing about aviation. Plus the wake turbulence alone. So the laws of physics, the laws of aviation cease to exist that day. People who lived in the airports back in the 80s and 90s when the airports expanded, planes coming in too low at half that speed were ripping tiles right off the roofs from the wake turbulence. Half the speed. Ripping roofs off sometime when they come in a little too low. So you can tell me a plane traveling 500 knots over 200,000 tons, 50 feet off the ground is not going to, the wake turbulence is not going to cause nothing. It would rip every car, like every car would flip over 1,000 times. Yeah, I mean, it's simple science, it really is. But I think we're coming to an end of the show here, and I want to cover so much more. There's just so much to talk about, and I might bring this up at the next show. But I want to let people know here, Rhode Island, get out to the voting polls tomorrow. I mean, it's very critical, these primaries, and you got to get these right people in. We need people who support liberty, the Constitution, and our individual sovereign rights, and because they're heavily under attack, especially by the godless queen there, Gina Raimondo, our governor. She needs to be gone, plain and simple. Vote her ass out. Even if you have to switch parties to Democrat, vote her out, plain and simple. Get her out of the primaries, and we don't need Scott Brown either. Okay, he's another one like that. We need these progressives the hell out of here, plain and simple. You got Alan Fong, Patricia Morgan, tomorrow going at it tomorrow. May the best of them win. Two great people. And we're going to talk more about politics and everything the next shows. And wish we had more time for this because I didn't even get to cover anything. But research Operation Northwoods. Get the PDF file from the National Archives. And you got to really scratch your head. And find out the story how JFK fired people over that. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Check me out at thetruithradioshow.com, at Twitter at Dan Bidondi. And we'll talk to you soon. This is Dan Bidondi for the Dan Bidondi Show on 990WBOB.com. God bless. And remember, you are the resistance. Declaring war on the New World Order. TruthRadioShow.com.